Hey, hello everybody. Happy New Year. If you're just tuning in to me for the first time so far in 2024, appreciate you being here. Welcome to CryptoCoinMindSet. Hoping to make this a great year. We got a lot of great new, well, not new, but we got a lot of great cryptocurrency news coming today. Hopefully, it'll make a lot of sense to you. We got actually, you know what? And here we go. I'm slacking already with the with taking care of the stuff that needs to be taken care of. So if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick that bell icon, and click the all. And again, my name is Keith, and I'm here to help you get your mindset on crypto. If you're in the chat, hey, Automatic Beats. Good morning. Welcome. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Always good to have you. If you make sure you jump into the chat, everybody, and we'll get to whatever comments or questions you have. Today, I am looking. Sorry, I'm still playing around with controls over here at the moment. Today, I am looking to go. We're going to go over the markets. Dump going on right now in Bitcoin and the markets in general, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about. Or I'm going to try and connect some dots for you to talk about what I see as a bunch of collusion. And I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's corruption, pure and simple, and where I think and why I think that is where it is right now. And maybe a little bit about where it's going. Appreciate you being here. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a great New Year. Mine was kind of quiet. The older I get, the quieter it gets. Anyway, all right. So there's a couple of things I wanted to show you before I we go and take a look at the markets. Kind of funny here. So hold on. I'm going to bring this up here. Here we go. Now, I'm sure many of you have saw the interview with Cramer, and again, reverse Cramer, 100% all the time. But here you go. First, talking about today's drop in the market, showing, hello, damn it, Cramer, kiss of death. Yeah, because the inverse Cramer, whatever Cramer says on TV, do the opposite, you'll be fine. And he came out yesterday basically saying, Bitcoin's here to stay and all this great stuff, bullish type of stuff about Bitcoin. And here we are today, 9% dump in the market so far. So this is one of the reasons that people are saying that the market is dumping as we speak. There is one other reason that people are putting out there. That they're saying it's going on. An analyst put out that the SEC is going to reject all the spot Bitcoin ETFs in January. This MatrixPort analyst. Now, I mean, I don't know who this guy is. I don't follow him. Don't really give a shit, frankly. But it's like anything else. You get a report of FUD. And, people panic. Personally, I think it's going to play into a little bit of what I'm going to try and piece together for you. Hey, Chris, good morning. Glad you're here. Appreciate it. Yes. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So, look, whether these spot Bitcoin ETFs, let's just put it out there. Whether these spot Bitcoin ETFs get approved before the 10th, which is the deadline that's coming up this week, or they get rejected, as this article and analyst puts it, the next date is in March. So you want to know what? Either way, spot Bitcoin ETFs by the end of Q1, right? But I believe that, and maybe this will make a little more sense. Well, okay. Here's my take. Okay. I think this guy was paid to put out this FUD. And I think some of the people who are helping to spread this FUD were also on the. And you want to know what? Why? Why would that make sense? Because you've got these players with their ETFs pending approval who want to get a great buy-in price. You're going to shake out all these people who are like, woohoo, doing like we talked about, right? I've put out how many videos about front running the market? Lots of them. And the unfortunate part is that most people come into the market for the money, and I get it. Well, I got in way back in 20 early 2017. But once you understand what Bitcoin, and I'm not a maxi, so I think cryptocurrency as a whole is going to do for the world economy, for your family's economic status, um, it doesn't matter what the price action does, because right now the market is so small. People that have this kind of money can manipulate the market, and that's what's going on right now, if you ask me. And that added pressure does what? Any of the people who are going long because they're degenning into taking leverage plays on Bitcoin are getting liquidated, which then keeps forcing the price down a little bit more. All things being equal, I mean, we were at the $45,000 mark. We're going to see in a little bit, we're still above 42. Or, I mean, we went down to like 40,000 and then bounced back up, and we're hovering in that 42. But we're going to, one other thing. Oh, hold on. Actually, almost accidentally canceled the live stream. Oh, it's been that kind of morning this morning. All right, I want to show you one more thing, and again, kind of plays to my point. Plays to my point. Hang on one second. Let me bring that screen up here. Let's see. Where is it? Sorry, I got so many tabs open. I got to go find a damn thing. Here we go. Tell me this does not sum it up right here. Yeah, we're going to even make that full screen for you. Bam. Thank you for the cheap Bitcoin. Okay, that right there sums it up in a nutshell. They're trying to shake it out to get the price as low as possible for buying into Bitcoin for their ETFs. And I love the fact that they put this out with Jamie Dimond in this tweet, because as we're going to talk about later, Jamie Dimond is just part of the establishment, that is part of the corruption, that is part of the FUD train for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I mean, I've been telling you since I got into the space back in 2017 that Jamie Dimond has been threatening his employees. You own Bitcoin, you're fired. Just a month ago, he was sitting there on at a congressional hearing, basically saying Bitcoin is for criminals, and if he had the power, he would shut it down immediately, and the government should do that. Da 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 da. And last week, he's named J.P. Morgan Chase is named as one of the participants with the BlackRock ETF. Duplicitous bastard. That about sums it up for me. All right, let's go take a look at the markets. I got enough coming in here. Anyway, whoops, sorry. So let's go take a look at the markets, bring up CoinGecko and see exactly what's going on. Talk prices. I'm going to refresh that because let's bring the latest pricing here. And all right, where are we? So you know what? I'm going to bring that full screen for you so you can see it a lot better. So Bitcoin right now hovering 42,448. And you want to know what? That's still not a bad price. I mean, still hovering just fine. I mean, when we were live, even Friday at Crypto on the Rocks, that was about the pricing for Bitcoin. I mean, it was only like over the last 24 to 48 hours that we saw that spike up to about 45K in anticipation. And that's what it was, anticipation that there was going to be an immediate spot ETF approval. And though, a lot of people are surmising that, today maybe, and we'll talk about the why of that in a little bit before I really get into the nitty gritty of the conspiracy bullshit. Again, I think this is them trying to shake people out of the market. But let's keep going. So overall, Bitcoin down 6% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum down almost 7% in the last 24 hours, 5.2% overall, down to $2,200. Still a good price for Ethereum. Still not that far down. BNB holding pretty rock steady at over $300, $313.58 here. Solana down 11% in the last 24 hours, 9.7, almost 10% in the last 7 days. So most of that in the last 24 hours. And again, I'm no fan of Solana. However, I anticipate they're going to be a big player in this particular bull cycle. Again, still not. I think Solana still has a lot of room to go. Now, XRP down 10% in the last 7 days, 9.5% of that in the last 24 hours, along with the rest of the market, down to 56 cents, 56.5 cents. Frankly, if you like XRP, that doesn't strike me as a bad price for XRP. So let's keep going here. Excuse me. Cardano down 10.5% in the last 7 days, almost all of that, along with the market in the last 24 hours, down to just over 55 cents. You know what? Again, I still feel like Cardano's got some downward action to go here before it starts to recover. I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic because I want to buy more Cardano, but I don't know. We'll see. What do you think? Tell me in the chat. You think that's still got some downward motion, or is it going to bounce right back up? Let me know what you think. Avalanche, AVAX. I love AVAX. Think it's got a great future, especially in this bull cycle. We're talking down 16.5% in the last 7 days, and 11% of that in the last 24 hours. We have to stop off and talk about Doge. I know Crypto Jar is not here today, but actually I did invite him. I don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully he'll jump in here at some point. But down 11.8, almost 12% in the last 7 days, and 10%, over 10.5% of that in the last 24 hours, just over 8 cents. Quite frankly, I still see that as way too high for Dogecoin, but again, I'm not a meme coin fan, so maybe that's why. Polkadot down 14.5%. Tron, I'll tell you, like I said, Tron's kind of almost a stable coin here, hovering, staying steady in that, even though it has dropped over 4% in the last 24 hours, still in that 10-cent mark. Matic down over 21% in the last 7 days, 13, almost 14% in the last 24 hours. Frankly, I still think not a bad buy for Matic. Chainlink, I love Link, down 12.5% in 7 days, 10% of that in the last 24 hours. And you want to know what? Again, still, as far as I'm concerned, not a bad buy-in price for Link. We're going to keep going past Shiba Inu because, again, don't like those meme coins. Litecoin, great buy for Litecoin, if you ask me, because, again, using it for what it was meant to be used for, getting your Bitcoin, saving it, use your Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash to go ahead and purchase what you need to purchase with cryptocurrency. Down 13.8%, almost 14% in the last 7 days, 11.5% of that in the last 24 hours at $65. Good price for Litecoin. Bitcoin Cash, same thing. Overall, down 10.6% in the last 24 hours, but only 8% in the last 7 days. $231. Again, it's for what it's meant to be used for. Use it as cash. We have Stellar. Now, Stellar jumped up pretty high there. It was up over the 13-cent mark. I think it was hovering close to 14 cents. And you can see down 7.7% in the last 24 hours. So back under and just barely holding that 12-cent mark. Filecoin, again, look at this. It's down 12.5% in the last 24 hours, but that still keeps it up 11.5% over the last 7 days. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But again, I think Filecoin's another one of those I think has a huge, huge upside in this next bull cycle. HBAR down almost 10% in the last 24 hours. And listen, HBAR was up over 10%, 10%. It was up over 10 cents at one point. So basically all those gains it had over the last few days have been stripped away, and we're back to approximately where we were, 8.6 cents earlier. Monero down almost 10% in the last week. But again, goodbye for Monero. I think privacy coins, and as I go through this bullshit and corruption that we're going to talk about, I think you'll see why privacy coins are going to be a bit of a necessity. Let's see, Caspa. Let's for JAR, we'll check in on Caspa. Down almost 11.5% in the last 24 hours, but still up over 10 cents per. We know Quant had a huge uptick, was up over 140, I think close to $150 there at one point, down 11.5% over the last 7 days, 9% of that in the last 24 hours. And you know what? I think we're gonna hold there, and that'll do it for our market lookup. So again, my opinion here is that these people who have pending ETFs and are all part of this network of put out the Christo. Oh my God, you swear to God it was crypto on the rocks, and I've been drinking, right? The only thing I've had this morning is coffee and water, I swear to God. Matter back, let's have a little more water. Maybe that's part of my problem, right? Anyway, so I want to show you a commercial that was just put out by Galaxy Digital and Invesco for Bitcoin's birthday today. Because if you didn't know, today is Genesis Block Day, so Bitcoin's birthday. This is a great day. This is the day that Satoshi Nakamoto, let's do that for a moment here. Sorry. Satoshi Nakamoto mined the first Genesis block 15 years ago today. And yep. We have a 15-year-old teenager that is, God willing, gonna give us the opportunity to change our family's wealth and get this global economy, away from what's happening with the downturn of the US dollar. I mean, let's face it, the US debt has now gone over $34 trillion. We've gained $1 trillion in debt in about 3 months. I think it's 3.5 months. That is not sustainable. We've talked, or I've talked about that on numerous live streams, and I'm not the only one, that is not sustainable. And with that, you see more and more people trying to get off of the US dollar bandwagon. Starting January 1st, what happened to BRICS? It expanded. Now the BRICS countries are, if I remember correctly, make up approximately 50% of global GDP. These countries now have a controlling, assuming they can work together. I think there's still a lot to be said and played out with regard to that in BRICS. But if they're able to control what they're doing with trading within their own economies, within their own currencies. Never mind setting up their a BRICS currency, but they command a lot of sway and power. I mean, because think about it, the natural resources, these places, a lot of them are just replete with natural resources. And they're starting to realize that, you know what, we control those. You want them, you're going to pay for them, and you're going to do it on our terms. Our terms. Sorry, I was just checking the live chat. Didn't want to miss anything anybody putting on like that. But let's watch this commercial. Let me bring that up full screen. Let's give this thing a watch.
15 years ago, a revolution was born, not in the streets, but in the silent depths of the digital world. A defiant spark, a whisper of change in the aftermath of the financial crises. They called it Bitcoin, and the very first block was created 15 years ago today. Bitcoin embodies empowerment in the digital age. Its fixed and predictable supply makes it a potentially robust store of value, free from the control of any individual or government. The white paper displayed above me laid the foundation for this novel technology, offering a solution for people anywhere in the world to securely send and receive digital money using the internet. Like any 15-year-old, Bitcoin is still a teenager. People are still trying to understand its place in the world. But one thing is certain. We are committed to helping you understand and explore the transformative potential of Bitcoin. Happy birthday, Bitcoin.
I don't know about you. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Thank you, Mike Novogratz and Galaxy Digital for putting that on out there. Yeah, exactly. Woohoo! BTC. Yeah, exactly right. Yep, exactly. And here's the thing. I mean, this downturn to me, this is nothing. Again, this is them trying to shake it out. And all right, let's try and get into that right now. And I'm gonna try and connect some dots for you. So let's see how well I do. All right. So let's bring up the first one. And again, some of this has been news. I guess you could call it old news. I mean, the crypto space moves so fast. Yeah, it could certainly be considered old news at this point. Actually, yeah, let me do this. That way you still get to see my bright and smiley face. Now, this is something I reported on and talked about pretty extensively in the last real live stream I did, where I was talking about Elizabeth Warren's cryptocurrency bill and the fact that she's garnered more support with regard to this. And we're gonna look into that a little bit deeper here in a little bit as we go through a tweet from John Deaton from Crypto Law TV. If you don't follow him, you should. And links to everything that I'm showing you here on the screen today are in the description of this live stream. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. And matter of fact, while we're here, I'll just take a quick second to say, if you're just joining us, jump on in to this chat. Tell us about it. Questions, put it in there. Make sure you hit that like button for this live stream. I appreciate that. Get this thing out there and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Appreciate that very much. So again, this is where I started about, it was like a week or so ago, where we talked about Elizabeth Warren and getting some bipartisan support with regard to this cryptocurrency bill. Now, I think the bipartisan support is important because, frankly, this isn't, for those who live in the United States, this isn't a Democrat thing. This isn't a Republican thing. They're both dirty and shitty, if you ask me. And it's just, to me, different degrees of shit. But regardless, the fact of the matter is, I believe that, and now remember, Elizabeth Warren is getting her marching orders from the people who put money in her pocket, which is, guess what? The banking association. In that last live stream we talked about, I showed you where it was put out there from the banking association that they were part of the group that helped to draft this bill that is now being proposed by Elizabeth Warren. So here you go. Now you're starting to see the connections. You've got the banking association and by extension, the Fed trying to otherwise collude, manipulate, whatever, U.S. lawmakers, in this case, in the guise of Elizabeth Warren, because she sits on the banking committee, who, by the way, is supposed to be the oversight for the SEC, and we'll get into that a little bit later, because, well, I'm not going to jump the gun. Not going to jump the gun because I want to string this all together. But anyway, you have her and several people who have now realized, I think, in short order, that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to be able to undermine their ability to manipulate people by controlling the money supply. The money supply and potentiality of a CBDC gets watered down at best, negated at best, watered down at least, with regard to putting it out to you and I, the average U.S. citizen, and that limits the government's control if we have a way outside of their system. And frankly, 2024 is the year you need to be getting outside of this system, because I think personally things are just going to keep going downhill. Anyway, so this was the first thing, excuse me, the first step in this direction for control, the first step in the latest amount of FUD on the crypto space, the first step in what I think is going to be a, hang on a second, I'm freezing up here. Hold on one second. Let's see if I got that fixed. That's better. In what's going to be a series of events where they're going to try and manipulate the crypto market and flush people out of the cryptocurrency market. So that was first. Now, here's the second part. Now, remember, as part of what Elizabeth Warren was doing with regard to this bill that we just talked about was what? She held hearings. Those hearings featured who? Do you remember? Featured Jamie Dimond. We've already talked about him. And thanks for the cheap Bitcoin, right? But just to remind you, sitting in front of this committee, Jamie Dimond said what? If I was the government, I'd close it down. In this case, Bitcoin was the it he was referring to. He'd close Bitcoin down. Now, a week later, we're one of the authorized participants of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Hello? Does this really surprise you? Like, come on. This guy is duplicitous an ass as they get. And again, has been building the JP Morgan Chase infrastructure all the way back since 2017. There have been articles out about it and different comments and interviews that were sparse at the time and still are, quite frankly, because his thing has been to FUD this out because he knows he wants to do what? He's got to go in and buy more of it. The only way he's doing that is at a decent price. And the only way he's going to get a decent price is if he's FUDding everything and people are getting out of the market. Hence today, don't sell your Bitcoin to these people. Don't. If anything else, you need to be buying more Bitcoin. I bought some more today. You need to be buying more Bitcoin. Again, I got to put this up here, right? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, old guy, internet. Listen, think about it for yourself. think about it for yourself. Does it not make sense to you that they're going to try and get into this? And as they try to get into it, they want to get into it at the lowest price possible. So you've got Elizabeth Warren coming out, creating this bill, fudge, shake people out, didn't do a great job of it. It kept Bitcoin still stayed right around that 42K range. And then you got a week later, Jamie Dimond, after telling Congress basically, hey, shut this shit down. Hey, we're taking part. We're a participant in the Bitcoin ETFs. Ugh. Anyway, and then let's okay. When I talk the corruption and all this other stuff, I want to point out to you that there are different levels of this. And I think this next piece, as I go through it. So, okay, we've got Elizabeth Warren putting that bill in place, getting bipartisan support because the people she's shaking the tree on realize, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to line my pockets and get rich by being here in Congress. We need to do something about this whole freaking Bitcoin and cryptocurrency thing before we're out of it takes away all our control. She touts up and brings up Jamie Dimond, respected JP Morgan CEO, right? To say Bitcoin bad, shut it down. To only find out a week later he's involved in the Bitcoin ETFs, whatever, to now this. And I know some people are going to say this might be unrelated, and I am going to argue it is not, and I'll tell you why. Now, you probably, again, already heard about this. Let me do this so you can see that a little bit better. DOJ declines to prosecute additional charges against Sam Bankman-Fried, so SBF, instead focusing on the sentencing in the first trial. Now, I get it. You know, this is just following the trial of SBF to a lot of people who just look at it on the surface. And ultimately, I mean, I'm sure there is a degree and part of that. However, let's go through this couple of points I want to point out in this article, and then we're going to look into a couple of things, tweets with John Deaton, and then I'm going to expound on a couple of points he makes. But let's look at this. Basically, it came out last week that prosecutors, the DOJ, had decided they're not going to go forward with a second trial because there was supposed to be a second trial with regard to SBF. In November, a jury found Fried guilty of 7 criminal counts, including wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, stemming from the collapse of his cryptocurrency exchange, FTX, okay, and affiliated hedge fund, with Caroline Ellison there. Prosecutors explained that much of the evidence they would use against him in the second trial was already presented in that one. Okay, so their reasoning for not doing the second trial, or their public announcement for not doing the second trial, is because basically they're trying to save the American people's money, because having a second trial will be a waste of time because we already won the first one. Yes, we are thrifty and wise with people's money. That's such a crock of shit. That is a crock of shit. But sadly, most people will probably accept that. So, okay, there's that, right? Let's read a little bit further, and then I'm going to, hold on, let's bring that back there. There we go. And we'll go a little bit further. Okay. Prosecutors released documents in October showing that Bankman-Fried and his allies donated $50 million during the 2022 election cycle to political groups that did not publicly disclose the names of donors. Among the beneficiaries were nonprofit organizations aligned with both party leaders, Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell. And they're not the only ones. They are nowhere near the only ones. And I argue that that is the reason why the fact that in this next trial, they would basically SBF would being, wow. Let's try this again. SBF would be being prosecuted for bribery charges. In order to prove those charges, they would then have to disclose in open court where that money was sent. And then we would know the litany of our congressmen and senators and others that were bribed, had their pockets lined, were otherwise greased up to get influence by SBF and his ilk. They don't want that to come out. I never got involved with FTX. Something told me back in the day, steer clear, because he was trying all the way back. Now, in the article we just read, it talked about influencing and donating in the 2022 election. Newsflash. This shit started back in 2020 election, where he became, and this was an article on CryptoCoinMindSet. Feel free, head there, read it, where SBF became one of the largest, I believe it was the second largest donor to the Biden presidential campaign. Well, why do you think that is? Because, well, I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, Biden is as corrupt as he's old, okay? But that notwithstanding, what was SBF trying to do? He was trying to sway an election, okay? Okay, I'm trying not to get too far off track. He was trying to sway an election by donating to a presidential campaign. And don't think that the lining of pockets ended there. And obviously it didn't end there, because now you've got prosecutors who refuse to prosecute the next case because it will come out how many corrupt politicians and politicians were bribed in future events. So basically from 2020 till the collapse of FTX. They don't want that information out there. That doesn't help them. And it doesn't help the narrative that they're trying to put forward, which is what? Bitcoin cryptocurrency bad. Bitcoin cryptocurrency is used by terrorists, is used by for money laundering and yada, yada, yada. When you and I both know, like, common sense tells you that the majority of money laundering and funding of terrorist activities happens with the US dollar. The US dollar. There have been many reports. I mean, you can go research them all yourselves. I didn't want to go down that particular rabbit hole. But the point is, if the US dollar continues to be undermined, the influence that it yields across the globe also declines, which then means that, it's not as easy for the US government to sway influence and send pallets of US dollars under the cover of darkness to our enemies. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the Obama administration and look it up. So, what options do they have? They have the option of lining Elizabeth Warren's pockets, sending her out to put this bill out, getting her to shake the tree of people like, hey, this is going to crash on our heads. So you need to support me with regard to this bill. And then what do? Let's bring in some respectable people from the banking system like Jamie Dimond. And, tell the government how we should shut down Bitcoin. If it was up to him, we'd shut it down. And then you take, I think it's this one. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. Hold on. Nope. I guess I forgot to bring that up. So, but basically, then you've got, okay, how do they get all this ammunition? Well, SBF gave them plenty of ammunition. The collapse of FTX exchange did what? It just emboldens their case because look, oh my God, on top of all that's going on and all of the terrorist activities we're funding, and on top of all the money laundering that's going on in the cryptocurrency space, oh my God, people are getting hurt. Look, SBF took their money and did what with it? Well, they didn't bribe us, haha. But you know, and again, that's what they don't want to come out. Why there's not going to be a second trial? Because then we'll find out that part of the money, probably a good majority of the money that SBF embezzled, went where? Into the pockets of our legislators and those in influence, likely in various three-letter agencies. Now, I mentioned earlier that Elizabeth Warren, the committee that she chairs, the banking committee she chairs, is supposed to be the oversight for the SEC. Why is Elizabeth Warren, if she's so worried about everything that's going on and all the bullshit that she says is happening in cryptocurrency, when the DOJ decided not to prosecute the second set of charges against SBF, why did she not come out and demand not only that they do it, but wanting to see the meeting notes that happened? There was a meeting between Gary Gensler and SBF about 6 months before their the FTX collapse. Why? What do you think was discussed there? Come on. I'll leave to your imagination the conversation that happened in that room. But again, if Elizabeth Warren is that worried about what's going on in crypto, why is she not taking up the mantle and saying, I want Gary Gensler right here in front of me to tell me what he met with SBF about and why he didn't see then that FTX was about to collapse? Sure. At least you're in the chat, brother. Glad to see you. Happy New Year, bud. Happy New Year. Welcome. Glad you're in the stream. And I appreciate that. Indo Crypto. I appreciate that. Yes. I appreciate you think I'm hitting it on the head. I'm going to keep going and try and continue to piece it all together. But again, so let's bring it, because I know I still got a couple people starting to trickle in again here in the next cycle here in this live stream. So let's bring it back. So again, we had Elizabeth Warren putting up her bill, then getting bipartisan support for that bill. And in order to do that, she touts out Jamie Dimond, who sits there and says, we're going to close. If it was to me, we'd close down Bitcoin. Then a week later, of course, he's named as a participant in the Bitcoin ETFs. Duplicitous bastard. That's all I got for him. Anyway, and then you got what? The DOJ refusing to do the second set of prosecutions against SBF because, again, it would have to come out, because this was about the bribery charges, who he was bribing throughout our government. They don't want that information out there. They don't want that information out there. And here we are with Elizabeth Warren sitting at the head of the committee that oversees Gary Gensler and the SEC. And instead of coming out and tell us what's going on, she's radio silent because it doesn't fit her narrative. It doesn't fit her agenda. It doesn't fit the agenda of the Banking Association, which again, were co-authors of her bill. Already showed you that in my last live stream. And here we are. We are going to go through a couple of different tweets from John Deaton from Crypto Law TV. Again, links to everything I'm showing you in the description of this live stream. And Jameson Lopp from CASA. You should follow both of those guys on Twitter if you're on crypto Twitter. Sorry, just taking a second to read what's in the chat. All right, so let's bring up the first one here. From John Deaton. Right here. So here we go. And I like the way I like the way this guy writes. I'm honestly thinking somewhere soon I might be reaching out to him, see if I can't get an interview with him. I mean, I'm just a small YouTuber. Speaking of which, make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you're new here. Tick that bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I go live and or drop a video. Dropped a couple of videos already this week. One more coming out tomorrow. And then of course, again, live Friday night, Crypto on the Rocks, new crypto portfolio that you'll be able to help me dollar cost average into. So make sure that you are here for that. Anyway, so John Deaton, it looks like I'm having some connection issues. If I'm lagging out there, I apologize. Sometimes StreamYard gets overwhelmed and it looks like I'm coming back now. So, but let's open this up full screen here and take a look at what John Deaton has to say. Make no mistake, disgrace is the appropriate word to describe the DOJ's decision to drop campaign finance charges. Yeah, of course. Again, they don't want to highlight everybody who sat there and took a bribe from this son of a bitch who stole everybody's money from FTX. Just sorry. And everything about this decision is an utter disgrace, including the timing. He's right. On the eve of a holiday weekend. And that's when they do all this kind of stuff. They drop this kind of news when they know people are going to be sitting there and be otherwise occupied with your normal life. You got holidays, weekends. That's when they drop this kind of news. So even if it picks up the weekend news cycle, which this did pick up the weekend news cycle, by the beginning of the following week, well, first of all, people ain't even listening to it because one, it's the weekend news cycle, and two, they're busy. It's a holiday weekend. What are they doing? They're taking care of their families. They're doing what needs to be done. They're not, at this point, unless you're deep in the space, like, somebody like me who hears this kind of crap and like, the bottom line is people just miss it. And, swept under the rug. Not wrong here. Swept under the rug. That's what they're trying to do with this, because again, they don't want to put out the names of everybody who took a damn bribe from SBF. And then, I like the way Jameson Lopp puts it right here. Matter of fact, yeah, the government has investigated itself and determined it did nothing wrong. This is what we've been living through. And unfortunately, to the point of why I'm doing this live stream today and these topics that I'm referring to and talking about and trying to connect together for you today, because that's exactly what this is. The government is sitting here investigating itself and taking action to protect itself and its entities. And when I say its entities, I'm talking about the people that we sit here and elect into office, as well as the various three-letter agencies like the SEC. Again, collusion. So I appreciated, and that the reason I put that this particular tweet, I appreciated the way he wrote that, and he's 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct. All right, right now, let's go take a look at the last tweet I put together, or not put together, pulled up from John Deaton here. Excuse me. Let me bring that up full screen for you, and let's go through it. This is all being coordinated by Elizabeth Warren and her anti-crypto army, being co-chaired by Jamie Dimond. Exactly what I was just talking about. They want to introduce a CBDC controlled by the Federal Reserve and in conjunction with big banks, obviously. That's how they're assuming they're going to maintain control, because again, if you use 2024 to get out of their system, to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and hold it. When you get this FUD in the market like we're seeing today, and you get these drops in the market like you're seeing today, you got to consider that, you know what? You bought it, you got to hold it, and that's it. Walk away from what's going on, or if you've got enough money on the sidelines, use it to buy more. Get a better buy-in price. Right? Does that not make sense? Again, you see the tag up here on the screen. Not financial advice. Not a financial advisor. I'm just an old guy who happens to think with a little bit of common sense. Just a little bit. Anyway, let's continue on here. She is using her campaign for re-election as a way to create and control the anti-crypto narrative. Bring that up full screen for you. Everyone must understand that outside, and in this case, that doesn't mean Connecticut, that means crypto Twitter, the vast majority of people don't know shit about crypto. He ain't wrong. I mean, how many times do you got people asking you questions about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, or if you try to mention it to them, they're like, yeah, I kind of heard of it. Yeah, that's used by money laundering and blah, 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 terrorists and yak. You know, that's all they know. If they even know that. Right? Okay. So, yes. And I've been in the room with political leaders who literally say, and this is where I was thinking about it earlier. I just couldn't remember where I had read it. Let's face it. The crypto is low-hanging fruit for Warren. And that SBF guy gave her all the ammo she needs to convince regular people that crypto is bad. I mean, remember, before the FTX collapse, you had the FTX stadiums, you had the FTX commercials, you had all of these people coming out, FTX. And other people got burned, right? The average FTX user got burned. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I followed my gut and never got involved with that stupid ass exchange. And if you did, and I'm sorry. Hopefully you didn't get taken for much money, because I'll reiterate again. You shouldn't use an exchange to hold your money. You get in, do what you got to do, and get your money out of there. Get it into a self-custody wallet. Whatever self-custody wallet you choose, but get those private keys out of the control of an exchange. And what happened with FTX is just proof that you shouldn't have your money on an exchange. So to get back to this portion of what he's saying here, yeah, SBF, that SBF guy gave her all the ammo she needs to convince regular people that crypto is bad. Because let's be honest, at best, most people, the average person, at best, is a headline reader. So when you see Elizabeth Warren, oh my God, crypto, terrorism, blah, blah, blah. Okay, crypto's used for terrorism. They don't look past that. Now, and let's look at this, because I thought this was interesting. I hadn't heard anything about this. but I kind of wanted to just put it out there because he had it as part of his tweet. So I have good info that Warren is going to use Tom Brady, the GOAT of quarterbacks, a hero here in Massachusetts, and Elizabeth Warren's neck of the woods, as an example of why crypto must be banned. In sum, if the GOAT can be swindled out of money by one of these crypto bros, then the average Joe, the me and you, have no chance and must be protected at all costs, even losing a little bit of privacy. The problem is it isn't just a little bit of privacy. It is all your friggin' privacy. And that's what they'd like to see. All your privacy out, gone. What do we got here? LOL. I tried to sign up for the FTX exchange, but couldn't because I'm a Canadian. Thank God. My losses would have been much more. I appreciate that, Jared. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you didn't get taken for that, because you want to know what? A lot of people did. And I don't know. Like I said, for me, it was just the minute he donated to the Biden campaign back in 2020, that was where that my gut just said, stay away from this guy, stay away from this exchange. This guy is gonna, fuck the world. And yeah, I guess I was right, sadly. And a lot of people got hurt in the process of that. But yeah, I'm glad you couldn't get in there, Jar. I'm glad. Because saved yourself a little bit of headache, just a little bit. All right. So he goes on to say, why do you think 20% of the U.S. Senate is already on board with Warren's bill? Well, exactly. Right. I mean, they're already figuring, here it is, man. That we're going to lose control of this shit. And and then he goes on, talking about the 2024 election, et cetera, et cetera. Look, the point of the matter is that Elizabeth Warren, Jamie Dimond, everyone that's co-sponsoring her bill, Gary Gensler, FJB, and every other agency that's trying to FUD, the Banking Association, and every other agency that's trying to FUD cryptocurrency is scared. Scared because they know if they can't get a CBDC out, what's going to happen? They are going to lose control. Couple that with the fact that the US dollar is basically, or the globe is basically de-dollarizing from the US dollar. So US dollar dominance is shrinking. The fact that the economy is now, again, just reached $34 trillion in debt, gained $1 trillion in less than 4 months. And the next trillion will be done in maybe 3? I mean, because it just keeps compounding. So pending economic collapse, the only way out of it is to be outside of the system. And I've talked about those ways and my ideas and thoughts with regard to the system. Hey, FF is here. FF in the house. Appreciate you being here. Yes, we're here. I wish you both were on here, and feel free. I still got a little bit of time beforehand, before I'm getting off of this. I'm just starting to bring the final bits of it together right now. Yes, F in the chat for FF. Put an F in the chat. Come on. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to Matrix Money Podcast, link to do that is in the description of this live stream. We go live every Tuesday on that channel, talking about a bunch of various topics. Matter of fact, yesterday dropped a video basically going over our ventures and our talks and all that kind of stuff so far, that we had from 2023, a kind of year in review video. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already done so. It's about 15, 20 minutes long, but some of the highlights of some of the best stuff we talked about on the Matrix Money podcast. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. Appreciate everybody for doing that. Yeah. Hey, Automatic Beats, appreciate you being here. I hope you have a great day at work, man. I get it. I get it, man. All right. All right. So what do you think? Did I stream or pull together enough dots that the idea of the collusion and corruption that's taking place between all of these entities, all of them, is an actual thing? Did I bring it all together? Let me know. I appreciate the input. Or if you got a question, if you think I missed something, you think I didn't elaborate enough on something, put it in there. You know me, I got no issue with sitting here talking crypto, and especially my opinions, though that's usually relegated to Friday night crypto on the rocks, 7 p.m. I need some water, guys. Sorry. And yes, it's water. We're not doing crypto on the rocks early here. All right. Yeah, I love it. F in the chat. F in the chat, guys. F in the chat. Appreciate all that. Glad to have FF and Jar in the live chat. Whoops. Hold on. Again. There we go. All right. So there was one other thing that I wanted to point out here. And a matter of fact, I think I forgot. Well, no, I didn't. I brought it up, but I didn't bring up my thoughts with regard to it. So let me just bring up this last screen right here that I was planning on. And basically, this is an article from the block yesterday, I believe, right? No, I lied, from the 30th of December, basically talking about the potential of an ETF, a Bitcoin spot ETF approval by January 10th. And now that's where we get a lot of what's the positivity, and we got that move up in Bitcoin to like 45K, was on this thought process that it's this week, somewhere this week, that we're going to get the approval for the spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, despite what we saw in the beginning, or that I showed you in the beginning of this live stream, with the FUD that's out today saying that, the SEC is going to reject them all in January, which means then it gets bumped off to March. That's the next set of deadlines, which frankly, whatever. That just gives me a better opportunity to buy more Bitcoin at a lower price. That's the way I look at it. But I'm still of the supposition that we will probably see a spot Bitcoin ETF approval this week. And, so regardless of this article, I think that we're going to see that. And it wouldn't surprise me that, end of day today, we see something from Gary Gensler about it on the Bitcoin Genesis block day, right? Bitcoin's birthday, to go, and him trying to take credit for it. I mean, can't you just see this? Can't you just see this? Him coming out and saying, these are approved. Boom, here's the list of approvals. Yay, yay, yay. And I waited till today, January 3rd, Bitcoin's birthday, to make the approval. Yay, me. I can so see him doing that. Now, again, what do I know? A old guy. I have no idea, but I could so see that happening. And who knows? We will see. Still time to see pending approvals. Pleb Underground. I'm assuming that's for me. And I'm not familiar with them, but I will go look them up when I'm done with the live stream. Appreciate that. I love it, FF. I love it. Yes, crypto on the rocks in the morning. I'll tell you what. When I can have enough money put aside that I don't care about people think anymore. Well, I don't care about what people think anyway. But yeah, crypto on the rocks in the morning. That's going to have to be, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I like my 7 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. Thanks. Oh, that might have been for FF. There you go. There you go. All right. Appreciate that. Anyway, so what do you think? Did I hit the nail on the head? Did I present a good case? So what can you do? What can you do going forward in 2024? If you ask me, you got to start making your way out of this system. I mean, I get it. You still have to operate somewhat within the system. You got a job, whatever the case may be, you're being paid in fiat. It's what it is. You're getting paid in US dollar. I'm assuming most people who are watching are probably in the US or Canada. So I get it. You got to operate in the system you got, but it would probably behoove you to start diversifying your portfolio and your investments and diversify into something that's going to give you the option to walk away from the system when the shit really hits the fan, which honestly, I think we're going to see a bit of by 2025. I don't say in 2025, but by 2025. And this year, we're going to see a lot of bumpiness, I think. You know, we're going to get a lot more FUD. We're going to get a lot more bullshit from the government. We're going to get as much FUD as humanly possible from them. But by the same token, you're going to have the opportunity to continue to buy Bitcoin. The masses will start getting more and more exposure to Bitcoin, which is at the end of the day only going to continue to drive the price. Now, again, I said that, you know, spot Bitcoin ETF approval probably going to the price. I mean, we saw that happen with the fake tweet that came out, what, 2 months ago now, 3 months ago now. And what happened? Bitcoin's price 10% in like an hour, not even. I think that'll happen again once the approval gets out there and so on. However, I think this coordinated FUD campaign and whales who are able to manipulate the market are going to come together and they're going to try and drive the Bitcoin price down. So again, the purchases that need to be made for the spot Bitcoin ETF are at a low entry point as possible. So dollar cost average is the answer. Doesn't matter how much, as much as you feel comfortable. Do it consistently every week. Pick Bitcoin, I think, should be part of everybody's portfolio regardless. And then whatever other assets you do your own research on. Now, for those who have been to Crypto on the Rocks, you know we've been using a DCA portfolio up until last Friday. So we're done. The voting for that is done. Starting this Friday on Crypto on the Rocks, again, Friday, 7 p.m., this channel, we are going to start a new cryptocurrency portfolio. So you got to tune in Friday to see about that. It's going to be basically things that are involved. Now, Bitcoin will still be part of it. Bitcoin is always going to be part of every crypto portfolio that we are doing on Crypto on the Rocks. But the part that you're going to get to vote on is going to be basically stuff for like Web3, gaming, P2E, that kind of thing. Because I think those items are going to be big in this next bull run. I think there's going to be something to be said for gaming, helping to bring additional people into the cryptocurrency space. Sure, these ETFs and the education that's going to go out there from all of these firms who are trying to get a Bitcoin ETF approved are going to start putting commercials out there. They're going to be putting all kinds of ads out there. They're going to be trying to, they're going to be putting that out to their current clientele. They're going to be trying to recruit new people. I mean, we've already seen, I've showed you just about every commercial I've seen that's been made public so far on a various live stream. I mean, look, we did today just for Bitcoin's birthday, the one from Galaxy Digital. So again, yes, the spot ETFs are going to be out there helping to promote the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin in particular, and bringing people into the space. However, the younger generations, so my kids, my grandkids generation, are all about gaming. And I think that is going to be another avenue that helps to bring that group of generations into cryptocurrency. Now, I mean, think about it. They're already good with, online gaming. They're already good with utilizing online assets within those games. They're a lot of them do crypto already. So to move outside of that, not a big stretch, my opinion. So make sure you join Friday, 7 p.m., Crypto on the Rocks, for the next cryptocurrency portfolio. Be part of the first vote of the year. Appreciate that. And that's going to do it pretty much for this. I think I've made my points. I hope that I've made my point. And I appreciate everybody being here. I truly do. Appreciate you all being here. Jar, FF, Automatic Beats, Chris, Indo Crypto. I don't think I'm missing anybody. If I am, I apologize. I think I got everybody. But thank you, guys, for being in here. Thank you, Automatic Beats. Appreciate that. Really, really do. And again, that's appreciate that, FF. Appreciate it. I really do appreciate everybody being here. So again, if you're new, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, click the bell icon, click the all. Trying to get this channel up over to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to do it in short order as we get up into 2024 here. I'm close. I'm shy about 125-ish people to get up over that mark. So share this out too. I share out the channel and the live stream. I appreciate that. Appreciate your help. All right, that's going to do it. I will see everybody here Friday night, 7 p.m. for Crypto on the Rocks. I hope you have a great day, great rest of your week, and start taking advantage of the opportunities you have in crypto now. Go start investing, get ready, not just crypto. Think about gold, think about silver, think about all these other things. Start diversifying out of this current system. All right, later. I'll see you Friday.